Hi everyone, welcome back to Total War Therapy, and today I'm very excited. It's since a very long time that I wanted to make a video like that, and today I just say, okay, let's do it. In short, today I will share with you my thoughts and opinions after I don't know how many thousands of hours spent playing Total War Warhammer. What are my rules, my book of rules, to build a defensive formation in this game. Please don't forget to subscribe and share in the comments your idea and how you do things differently. And let's start. The first question that you should ask yourself to decide if playing defensively or as attacker is if you have or not the range superiority. It means that the player that plays defensively is the one with the most massive missile power in the battlefield. You have to consider two main factors. First, who has the unit with the longest range, because you can have a good artillery piece, but if your enemy has an artillery piece with the longest range, you have to reconsider your option. And the second factor is how many units and how strong they are of missile in any army, because I can have 4 crossbowmen in my army, but if my enemy has an entire army of crossbowmen, it can be a problem to play defensively. Of course, these are just general rules, because even if you don't have the unit with the longest range, you can still decide to play inside a forest, where all the missile power of your enemy will be called off by the tree. Or instead, you can decide to take down the artillery pieces of your enemy with your stalk units, with your light cavalry, and so on. The first bunch of units to deploy on the battlefield will be the front line. The front line will be the core of your army and the origin from where to build the rest of your formation. You can notice that often in the multiplayer they are deployed not in a straight line. This is mainly because of breath, spells or artillery that can affect more units if they are close to each other or in a straight line. But you have to keep in mind that they have to be deployed like that even to secure the flanking and to give a bonus of leadership. And also because some units that can charge your front line, they can manage to go within them and reach your more vulnerable unit like missile, characters and artillery. The second bunch of units that you have to deploy on the battlefield are the missile units. As I said in other videos, there are many kinds of missile units. There is artillery, and you have to remember the rules for each of them. In this case we have the crossbowmen, that they have a range with the arch, so they can go over your front line. This is not the case, for example, of the handgunners, that we will put in this case in the middle of our army composition, in the middle of the front line. We have to defend them, and I will explain you a little later how. At the end we have to put the artillery as a third line of your army. Of course, these are just general rules, because you can put the artillery even in the same line of the missile infantry, and you can put some other support infantry units here. When I started to play this game, I was deploying the missile infantry very close to the front line and so the artillery. But over time I understood that is not a good move, because a big monster can charge, and if they are very close, they can hit basically 3 units with a step. Or there can be some magic, some artillery that can hit very great damage to 1 unit and affect even the others that are around. So keep the right distance between a missile units and the frontline units and the artillery one. And there is even another reason linked to the characters that I will explain to you later. Now that we have our front line to defend our missile power that will actually deal the damage to the army, we need to defend even the flanks and the rear guard of your important unit, in this case the artillery and the missile infantry. How we do that? We can use a couple of flanker units. I already explained in another video what's the distinction between the flanker and the front line. Some of you disagree, and I'm open to debate to that, but basically you need some units that can you can rely in case of big charges of monster, cavalry and beasties. Another kind of flankers that can be very helpful are a pair of cavalry. In this case you need some mobile units, because your your army, I mean, can be your army opponent can be quite unpredictable. They can just try to dodge you and to go around and sneak from the back, and you need some mobile units that can deal with the more versatile situation. And you need at the end a rear guard. For the rear guard you can use just the cheapest unit you have in your roster, because it's a kind of role that in many cases can be just not useful. But I can tell you that if your enemy has some flying units that even very light, they will try to attack your missiles, your artillery, and in that case, while your flankers will be occupied with to defend the flanks, you need a little of cheap unit that can deal with RPs, maybe a manticore, and so on. The last part of your army formation are the characters. The characters are a very crucial part because you have many things to take into consideration. The first things, you have to know that there are characters with different roles, but all of them, they have bonuses for leadership. And in many kinds of factions like Skaven that have very poor leadership, or demonic or undead faction where the presence of a lord with a leadership aura effect is essential, you have to remember that your lords have to be very close to the units. So feel free to dispose your unit in this kind of way, so they can cover with the most, can you see the circle? Yeah, they can cover as many units as possible with their leadership effect. Mostly the melee one, of course, but yeah. Keep in mind that if you have many heroes, it's better to put one on each side, one in the middle, and so on. That another reason that I say that you need a space between the melee fighter and your missile fighter are to move your lord. Because I can tell you that if you need your spellcaster that it's here to arrive here in a glimpse, and your army is all stuck with one another, it will be very okay. Now I didn't start the battle, but it's very hard to reach from here to here. So keep in mind that you need this kind of walk away when the character can just go from one side to the other, both if it's a spellcaster, a damage dealer, a specialist, or a support lord. Now for the roles, as I said, you need the support and the spellcasters to be probably behind your front line, because they are more vulnerable, especially the spellcaster that can actually be even behind the second line. The support is a little tougher, and yeah, normally they have more abilities that with a shorter range, like even 35, so it's more important to have them close to the melee combat. The spellcaster can rely on more versatility, but as I say, it's important to have a walk away so they can just reach a position or another. Then probably the most important sorry. As I said, the third, probably most important in this army role is the one of the tank or the damage leader. I mean, you need a tough guy that you know that when it's in the nearby of one unit engaging in combat, probably this engagement will be win, because with this melee support abilities and so on, he will make the differences. In this case, for example, we can put it in front of the handgunners, because the handgunners having a straight line to fight, the need to have a clear sight of the enemy, but they can be exposed to monster, other character units. So have a tank that can defend the handgunners from that. It can be a very winning choice. We are at the end of the video. Thank you for following me. Don't forget to subscribe, and please share with me in the comments how you would do things differently, so I can put them in the next video talking about this subject that honestly I love it. So see you very soon.